Hello everybody, my name's Brian, and welcome to a backup video. This is a backup video because I had something else planned, and it didn't work at all. So, when things don't go to plan, I fall back on old standards, and here we have Dredge. In fact, I would call this the most vanilla Dredge list I have seen in quite some time. For those of you who have never seen Dredge before, pretty much you have these cards that say Dredge on them if they're in your graveyard. Rather than draw a card, you can flip that many cards over into your bin, and that card goes back into your hand. Now, originally, of course, this was to replay this card over and over again when it dies, but really, what we're going to try and do is discard these cards that say Dredge on them, or put them directly into our bin with some of our cards. Finally, we have our payoffs, like things that when they get flipped into the bin do stuff, like Narcomoeba, as well as Creeping Chill, and our other payoffs like Prized Amalgam and Silver Smoke Ghoul that also come out of our graveyard. Now, of course, this deck is hilariously soft to graveyard hate, so if we look in the bin, we have things to take out things that stop us. So, Leyline of Sanctities to stop people picking apart our hand, as well as targeting us with things like Soul Guide Lantern and other things like that. Horrible Holes to take out things like Rest in Peace. Wear Tears, again, just generic, stop them from trouncing on you with their ideas, and Prismatic Ending to take out things like Sanctifier Invec that have protection from red and black. Finally, we have 4 Gemstone Caverns for when we are on the, we have to be on the draw. So hopefully we win game 1, which is Dredge's whole thing, to be on the draw, and then next game we try and go out a little bit faster with our Gemstone Caverns. A nice light amount of lands because we are not playing Life from the Loam anymore. This has completely cut green in recent times. Those of you who have been with me for a while know that Dredge was my very first video, and, well, I ran out of time. I have a complete other set of hours of footage of something that was just, it wasn't even entertaining to watch, so let's jump into some games here in the old one-on-one queue and see how we do in my backup video. No idea how many videos this is matches this is going to be, only because I am late on time. See you guys there! Alright, we want a die roll, which is exactly what we want in this version of Dredge. Let's get out of the way. This is a perfect hand. 2 lands, a red card, and dredgers. This is exactly what you want to see. We even get to Otherworldly Gaze on our first turn. So Scalding Tarn, go get Steam Vent, and Otherworldly Gaze. Bin, and bin. All right, and we ship and see how they do. I play an island into a Rishadan Dock hand that's actually going to be kind of annoying because we need 2 mana to really work here. The good news is we're already good at Cathartic, and hopefully we just have enough energy from there. All of our stuff out. Okay, so we have quite a few hits at this point. This should be enough to close out the game, I think. We won't be able to Ox of Agonis, though, because the guy's gonna start Rashading Dockhanding us, so that's gonna be Here's the big thing about Dredge, is constantly putting up triggers. When you play in paper, you really have to pay attention to make sure you don't miss these triggers. Alright, so at the end of turn 2, we have a whole bunch. I don't see them coming back from this. They're just gonna tap one of our... Oh no, they're gonna attack, sure. You didn't totally attack me. Oh, if this is a ninja, high fives, buddy. Nope, just decided to take their hit. Dredge at this point. Even more things working out our way. And this is game 1 with Dredge. It looks completely broken, but once anyone has any graveyard hate, you get pretty stomped. And it becomes a much different game at that point. It becomes more of a how do you play around their graveyard hate, because they're going to have something. Merfolk Trickster, sure thing. So they'll probably Trickster the Prized Amalgam? Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know why they didn't want the Rishadan Dockhand as a blocker. We do have an island though, so they can just get Island Walk and race us, but luckily for us, we also have Ox of Agonis. So lands literally never come out. Get rid of those, super easy. Cathartic Reunion is also doing us no favors. And now, oh yeah, those 2 guys. All right, fun fact, Ox of Agonis is the highest escape cost there is. Yield. Now we discard our hand, and we start dredging. All right, we put him to 3, as Dredge is known to do. All of our triggers, all of our stuff's on the field. That's game 1. Now they're gonna have 1,000 pieces of graveyard hate. So I'm willing to bet we want some Wear Tears. Take out some land. Probably take out the 4 Cities of Brass. Take out Cities of Brass. I don't know. Let's try taking out 2 Cities of Brass, taking out 1 Steam Vent, and 1 Bloodstained Mire, because I don't want as many islands as I normally have. I'll put in a whole bunch of Gemstone Caverns. I will take out probably just some some Glari Thugs because I'll on our threat list and put in some Wear Tears. Yeah, let's try that. All right, this doesn't have a second land, so we can't keep it. Never keep a 1-land hand with Dredge. This has no red card, so it would also be a poor idea to keep. Pretty much you can mull all the way down to 4 and be fine. Now, our opponent is aggressively mulling as well, so they're looking for their graveyard hate. This is a 1-lander, mull to 4. Ugh, this is brutal. Okay, so keep this. We will put Prized Amalgam, the Silver Smoke Ghoul, and the Silver Smoke Ghoul back. Done. We'll play out the Gemstone Cavern, just in case we find something, and we will get rid of, let's see, I guess the Thrilling Discovery, in case they counter our thing with a Force of Negation. So we're down to 2 cards, and as dominant as Game 1 was, you saw just now what happens on the other side of the coin. You just end up with nothing in your hand because, well, you need to mull pretty good. Now, we got lucky. We found a land. We can't cast Cathartic Reunion, though, because we had to get rid of so many cards. So there is a world where you don't Gemstone Caverns, but I kind of wanted that colored mana in case we found something that didn't help. If they play a creature out at all, though, which they didn't, which is good. Another Gemstone Cavern, so I'll feel fine pitching that. So Cathartic Reunion, discarding these 2 cards. Force of Negation. Okay, so that's why we got rid of that other one, because now Dark Blast is already in our bin. If we had the Lorehold card, the Boros one, they would have been able to Force of Negation our spell, and we wouldn't have put anything in the bin. But now we have a Dark Blast in the bin. We're playing against a creature deck, so once they start playing creatures, the Dark Blast actually has a target. But for right now, we're just kind of going nice and slow. We found a Stinkweed Imp, though, which is the best thing we could have found. So this went from that truly dominant Game 1 where we had the ideal hand to now a little bit slower. Master Pearl Trident, that's a thing. Good thing we found our 1 island. So now all of his creatures are unblockable. Lord of Atlantis, brutal. All right, we're not going to be able to do the upkeep trick with this Dark Blast, so we're just going to save ourselves the damage, put this back in the bin, and we will pull the Stinkweed Imp out of the bin and hope we find an Ox at this point. Okay, we found a whole bunch of free spells, so we got that going for us. At this point, this is very much a race. The problem is we found our free spells without anything else happening. We still have a Dark Blast in our bin that will allow us to dredge 3 more next turn, but at this point we're not in a good spot. Oh man, they kept a hand just full of action, so... And we don't even have any cards in hand, so if we like pull Conflagrate, that's not going to help either. We are really just like Ox or bust. Okay, so we didn't find much. We get 1 more turn. I don't think there's a world where we win this. I think we just stumbled a little bit too much. We mulled a little bit too far. Just didn't find it. And that is the other side of Dredge. Game 1, where you just absolutely raffle stomp them. And he didn't even need his graveyard hate. He had 1, spell. And, oh, is he going to do it even this turn now? I think he is, yeah. So now we're just dead. Well, from X Heart, I stab at thee. Exactsies. All right, what was next? So we wouldn't have found it anyway. All right. I still think these are correct, because I still think they're going to have some form of graveyard hate. I don't think removal is where we want to go. I think we can nip 1 Narcomoeba, put 1 Thug back. I think that's about all we want to do, though. We are going to go first, though, so we can take these Gemstone Caverns out and put our regular lands back in. All right, let's go with that. 1 land, no keep. I am getting a lot of 1-landers. So, okay, you know what? This is a video, and we're going to do this for educational purposes. We're going to keep this, and we're going to keep this because we have an Otherworldly Gaze. And you guys are going to watch me still get stomped despite the fact that we have an Otherworldly Gaze. So we're going to play a Scalding Tarn, and we're going to ship the turn. We want to do whatever we're going to do on their turn anyway, so that their Force of Negations aren't active. Please play a Murph. Okay, well, these are things that happen. We get a Steam Vent, Otherworldly Gaze, try and find that land. Oh, we did, okay. So Graveyard, top of Library. I still don't recommend doing that. Also, it's not going to allow us to cast our spell anyway, because it would have needed to have been a white land. So here comes our Blood Crypt, which, we'll play out and we'll take the damage. Yeah, we can't Thrilling Discovery because we don't have the right colors, but we can Dark Blast or just Otherworldly Gaze, depending on what they open up for us. So we still have Otherworldly Gaze available. This is us stumbling again, though. This is a very color-intensive deck, and we have the wrong colors right now, unfortunately. Silver Gill Adept. All right, and they showed off what? The God. Okay. They get to draw a card. We get to Dark Blast that, which is nice. Goodbye. And now we have a Dark Blast we can dredge and an Otherworldly Gaze we can cast. So first things first, we'll just dredge the Dark Blast. We found the Ox of Agonis, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't have enough to do that. We can Otherworldly Gaze and try and find something to do. Doing it on our turn might have been a mistake. I feel like this is about to get Force of Negation, which is kind of funny. Yep, okay, well, they exiled their god, which, Unfortunately for us, we kind of played into that. We didn't need to do that. But, you know, pay attention to your timing, folks. And when you say things out loud, like do it on their turn so they can't force a negation, maybe do it on their turn so they can't force a negation. We'll go ahead and give ourselves a stop on their upkeep, because we still have one more Otherworldly Gaze. Oh, they had another god. Good for them. All right, and now we Otherworld. If their last two cards are blue spell, force a negation, that's a thing. No. Thrilling Discovery, bin, and Wear Tear, bin. City of Brass, put on top. Play the City of Brass. And now we get to Dark Blast as well. Even if they counter the Dark Blast, we just want it in the bin to flip over stuff so that we can then play Ox of Agonis. All right, we will trade life for life here. We go to 10, which is not a lot of life, but we do have things to do now. We have a Thrilling Discovery in hand. We also have an Ox. Okay, we're gaining some life, which is good. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, I want those Silver Smoke Ghouls, so we actually are just going to Thrilling Discovery. Also, gaining the life is not necessarily a bad thing. So discard Stinkweed Imp, discard Dark Blast. Dredge Stinkweed Imp, Dredge Golgari Thug, Dredge. Ooh, man, we are really whiffing here. Dredge Dark Blast. Okay, we finally hit. So they have one turn, and we're going to have a whole bunch of stuff come back, which is great for us. And the next turn, we Ox of Agonis. Now, if they play some sort of graveyard hate, we get absolutely hosed. But our board did just explode. So if they can deal 14 in one turn, good for them. They could. They could flash in a Lord, and they do have 2 Mutavaults. So we are not out of the woods, but we are putting up a much better showing than game 2. Oh no, we got all the way to their turn, so should be fine. I don't think we'll be dead, and that's the important part, because we're gonna swing in rather hard this next turn. So keeping a one-lander with Otherworldly Gaze, as you can see here, it does let you put up quite a fight. We're not exactly winning. I did punt with the one Otherworldly Gaze, but let's see what it does. Nope, just okay. Just gonna eat one of our guys. Sure. Got another Creeping Chill, which definitely helps. We do have 2 Dark Blasts, so I think what we do first is we just swing with everything, and we see exactly what happens here. Gonna Atwara that. Sure. That goes to my hand. They go for a block. We go for a Dark Blast. We still have 2 mana to Ox. Okay, they're gonna spend their mana giving that thing indestructible, which is fine by me, because it doesn't actually change anything. They go to 4, and now it's Ox time. We just nip things that don't do anything, like lands and red spells. This used to be a lot harder when you had life from the loam, I have to admit. And we win the match. We are 1-0. Let's quickly try and do more. I am behind schedule here. All right, Platinum Angel. No, we don't have the Otherworldly Gaze, so we can't do this. We have no red card here, so this also does nothing. No, we're gonna mull to 4. We're so dead. So these are important matches to see where you just do nothing and then you die. We'll put our cards back that don't do anything. But unless we draw a land and then a red card, this is gonna be a very short game and we are going to get our butts kicked. Temple Garden into Arbor Elf, so probably some sort of Titan deck. Okay, we drew a land. That's good. So play the land and just pass the turn. So now if we live in a world where our top card is a red card, after we fetch, we are fine. But we don't always get to live in that world. Are they playing a 3-drop or a 2-drop? Invasion of Goblikon. You may exile target non-run card. Okay. Spell that costs 2 more to cast. Well, we don't actually want to cast any of these, so this is fine. And this flips over into what? At the beginning of your upkeep, put a counter on each creature that attacked this turn, and then you can give things indestructible? Sure. Which one of my cards that I don't cast do you want to take? Probably Stinkweed Imp, actually. You should really take Stinkweed Imp. All right, that was the correct move, opponent. Oh, they're still going. Another Arbor Elf. All right, well, let's go ahead and just get a Sacred Foundry, I reckon. Now, if we draw a red card, then we are where we need to be. We drew another land. Okay, now we don't actually want to play Golgari. Actually, no, we can play Golgari Thug. No, actually. Because, like, you play Golgari Thug, it dies, it goes on top of your library, and then we waste a turn drawing Golgari Thug when we're trying to draw one of our red cards. So, no drawing of a red card with Golgari Thug, because we would have had to crack Arid Mesa to get the Blood Crypt to play it, and then we wouldn't have had a shuffle to shuffle it back into our deck. They can cast a Titan if they have one. They can just cast Primetime. Elish Norn. That's fascinating. I think that actually stops us. I think. Because if a permanent entering that causes a trigger ability, permanent you control a trigger, permanents in the event don't cause permanents your opponent's trigger. Well, what if the permanent's in the graveyard? I don't actually know. I do think Elish Norn's gonna get us here. We are moving nice and slow. Speaking of nice and slow, let's go ahead and just get rid of an Arbor Elf. I feel like this is a little too slow kind of thing, but let's try it. Another invasion of Goblikon. So there goes Golgari Thug. Oh, it happens twice thanks to Elish Norn, eh? I mean, honestly, this is our fault for going too slow. We should really have 1,000 creatures out right now, but we don't. We also really have no way of killing Elesh Norn. Oh yeah, you can cast Invasion of Goblikon if you want. Yep, pump everything, buddy. Go to the moon. We are currently showing off a Dredge deck that did not work game 1. We can Dredge, though. Ugh. Boo and Hiss. All right, so we're probably completely 100% dead, but there's nothing wrong with seeing a little bit more of our opponent's deck. And also learning if Elesh Norn does stop our creatures from entering the battlefield. This will be interesting to see how this rules interaction works, because it says permanents entering the battlefield don't cause abilities of permanents your opponents control to trigger. But does it count as a permanent if it's in the bin, is the question, because I don't know. I would think you just smack me, personally. Oh no, they're gonna go for the invasion again. Well, we're not gonna be drawing anything, so we might as well knock the Arbor Elf down a peg. We don't want them getting another invasion of Goblikon out and just stealing our Dark Blast in case we do need that in the bin for a reason. Yeah, huh? Man, is our opponent showing off why Dredge is not tier 1. I mean, I miss when Dredge was tier 1. It was a fun time. All right, Golgari Thug, what do you got for us? Not a ton, if we're being honest. All right, so we can try to reach with Otherworldly Gaze. We can try. We did gain life, so if we find any Silver Smoke Ghouls, they will trigger. Okay, these all go to Graveyard. Okay, so Elesh Norn doesn't stop things in the bin, which is good. That means it's not as hard of a counter as it could have been. We are also facing down a 7/10 Elesh Norn and a 4/4 Arbor Elf, however, so, we're not exactly, winning position, if I'm being honest, but, with 3 more Creeping Chills in the deck, we might be able to sneak past some sort of victory here. Oh, whatever this is, I'm sure I'm not going to like it. Oh, just cycling a Triome. All right, we have some creatures. They are at 10. We only have Dark Blasts to pull from now on, however, which is, actually, no, if we block with Narcomoeba, we can put the Thug into play just as a blocker and put Narcomoeba on top of our deck and just keep flipping that out along with extra cards. That would actually not be the end of the world. Okay, you know what, opponent, just go to the moon. Just attacking with that. I still say we want the Narcomoeba to block. Oh no, they were attacking with Elesh Norn. It just didn't tap. Oh no! Brian, what are you doing? Not paying attention is what you're doing. All right, so pull out the Dark Blast. Play Golgari Thug, which will be a blocker. Kill, take a damage, which is fine. I mean, we already took a whole bunch of damage when we didn't need to. So yeah, all right. And then from there, I do think we just swing with our 2 guys. If we die because they top deck removal, we die because they top deck removal. But we do need to get them down low. All right, so next turn, our prized amalgams are going to be tapped. Our Golgari Thug is going to go back into the bin, though, and put the Narcomoeba on top. Great Henge. Okay, so they're going to start gaining life, which is not great. All right, block the big one this time, Brian. Pay attention to what you're doing. All right, we'll put Narcomoeba back on top. We do need to get really lucky, though, with this next dredging of Thug, because we're going to get the Narcomoeba. We know about that, and then 2 cards we don't know. I actually don't think... we're not going to have an attack at all, actually, because we just have the 1 Silver Smoke. So we'll get the Thug back. There's Narcomoeba, and the rest of it was Cabbage. All right, so those have to be our blockers, right? A2, just recast Golgari Thug. Golgari Thug is like a last resort blocker, because it's just going to put itself on top of our deck. But we are at 4, so either of their creatures can kill us, which is bad, so we need to make sure that doesn't happen. Yep, you can gain 2 life, that's fine. In theory, we can keep getting our creatures to come back, which is good, because we can block with Thug and Narcomoeba, and then the minute we find an Ox or like another couple of free spells, that'd be great. All right, what do you got, opponent? Only swinging with 1. We're just going to block with Narcomoeba for now. If they have some sort of overrun, they have some sort of overrun. All right, big money, no whammies. 2 Narcomoebas, all right. I see no reason to attack. We're just gonna let this go for now. And now we can block with Golgari Thug and put one of the Narcomoebas back on top. And as much life as you would like, opponent. Please do not be something big. That is unfortunate. Trying to get lethal when they get to Great Henge twice is hard. All right, so Thug and Narcomoeba, right? Put Narcomoeba back on top. No real reason to Dark Blast. Oh, now there's a reason. Boy, we really, multiple R's need to find an Ox. They're going to gain 4 life a turn now for the foreseeable future. Oh, or they're going to do that. They're also allowed to do that, right? Thug. We did find Ox of Agonis. Okay, good. All right, so red, Ox of Agonis. Agonus. Rid of things that don't do anything. We are. Right. Oh, Ox doesn't cause anything to trigger. So I just get a 5/3. Well, dang ya, I guess. Okay, so the whole Ox not triggering anything is a touch unfortunate, if I'm being honest. And suddenly our opponent scoops the match. Not sure why, but I'll take it, question mark? Weird. Oh my, we won a die roll. Let's see what we have going on here. No red card. We have dredgers, but we don't really do anything, so we'll mull. You know what? Last game, we managed to get away with the otherworldly gaze, so why don't we give it a shot? We can put the creeping chill back, and we can go ahead and see the other 6 and see how we do. Our opponent started with 7, so that's a thing. We'll play this, and we'll just pass, I guess. I mean, if our otherworldly gaze gets spell pierced, you have my permission to laugh at me in the comments. And it also plays a sea fence. That's all they got though. So we'll go to their end step. We're probably playing against like a Murktide or something. Bin, top of deck. So that actually worked. This is the first time Otherworldly Gaze is, you know, behaving. Normally, I Otherworldly Gaze into 3 non-lands and then don't draw and then lose the game. But I am really going against my own things here. I don't have a Dredger is the problem. We are going to draw quite a bit, though, so we'll get a Sacred Foundry. We have cards we actively don't want in our hands, so this is not the worst Thrilling Discovery. It's also far from the best, so we'll get rid of Conflagrate, and Ox of Agonus. Okay, so we drew the Stinkweed Imp, so next turn we do get to go off like a shot. I'm going to leave Narcomoeba on defense because I feel like they have a Ragavan. Copperline Gorge. Okay, I was wrong about whatever our opponent's playing. Gallia of the Endless Dance. You know, you play at really weird hours of the day, your opponents have really weird decks. Sure, you can deal me too? I mean, we're in a race, and next turn we're going to be able to do a lot more, so this is totally fine. Another Thrilling Discovery. We even get to, gain some life back. So Thrilling Discovery, discard the Narc and the Stinkweed, Dredge Stinkweed, Dredge Dark Blast, Dredge Dark Blast. Okay, so we're gonna have quite a few things come back at this point. So we might as well attack with the Narcomoeba this time, because whatever they're doing over there, it's not bog standard. And then next turn, we can either Cathartic or we could even Ox, depending on how this board state looks. Normally the correct answer is to Ox, but it's kind of hard to give up on 2 Cathartic reunions. Really what you have to do is, actually, I guess we could Conflagrate and take out their board, and then next turn Ox of Agonus, depending on what they play. Seasoned Pyromancer. So I'm starting to lean towards the old Conflagrate, considering that we're racing at this point. Oh, okay, it's a Vengevine deck with Wonder, and now all their stuff. Okay, so I'm happy we have the Conflagrate now. This actually has gone quite well for what we need to do next, because what we'll do is take out the Seasoned Pyromancer, take out the Gallia and 1 Elemental token, and then we'll swing. Our Prized Amalgams come back now, so we do get to swing with those as well. But we also get to get rid of most of the board. This is a weird Vengevine deck. Then again, like, I do love me some Wonder. We even get to Dredge the Dark Blast. Okay, so red, Flagrate. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I have 6 cards in hand. Look at that. Oh man, I don't think we could have had a better running of it. We are Hellbent now, and they are going to probably do some weird Vengevine shenanigans, but I feel like a one-sided Wrath is pretty good, and they're at 3, and we have 2 Oxes in the bin, so we should be pretty good to go, I think. Another Seasoned Pyro, sure. I mean, that gets them a lot of blockers, not gonna lie. That is a large amount of blockers. Oh, wow, Blazing Root Wallas. And now the Vengevine comes back? My word. Our opponent's deck is scary. They are at 3, however, so I don't see them dueling me 21, and like I have a lot more that comes back comparatively. I don't have another Conflagrate. Truth be told, that is a thing that doesn't happen, but we'll see what their go-to here is. Okay, they have a Wood of Foothills, and you give everything haste for 1 mana. You deal me 10 if you can somehow give everything haste for 1. Just Vodir and Epicure. More blockers, I suppose. All right, so if we could just find a Creeping Chill off of the whole bunch we're about to dredge, we're pretty golden. Oh, dude, comes in for the swing. No fear. All right, Stinkweed Imp. Didn't find it. All right, we do have 1,000 Oxes, though. So Ox of Agonus, just eat all the red cards. And 8 are all go away. Stinkweed Imp. Wow, how is this happening? Dark Blast, Stinkweed Imp. Okay, we found it. So Creeping Chill for the W. And now we get to play the game. What Graveyard Hate are they playing? So we want to take out some stuff because of not going to be on the play. So take out some Cities of Brass. Take out 1 Steam Vent. I don't think it matters. Huh. I'm willing to bet it's a ley line. We'll put in some wear tears, take out one Narcomoeba, one Golgari Thug, one Thrilling Discovery. Try that? I could be wrong. No dredgers, but we do get to Gemstone on 0 and then Thrilling on... Oh, there's a collector this time. We can keep this. Play Gemstone Cavern. Give up on one of our draw 3s. Ignoble Hierarch. We will Otherworldly Gaze in response. That's fascinating. So, bin. Play out some stuff. I think because we have an Otherworldly Gaze, we're actually going to Dredge Dark Blast. Yeah, not a ton going on in the bin right now. Play this out, and we're just going to Dark Blast the Ignoble Hierarch. It's called Bolting the Bird, folks. Been doing it for decades. Go ahead and swing with Narcomoeba, and we'll pass the turn from there. We can Otherworldly Gaze on their end step, hopefully shutting them down a mana stumbles them enough for us to kind of get up and going. Insolent Neonate. Okay, so he must only have creatures in his deck, which also means, I guess, either it's no graveyard hate or it's Yixid Jailer is the graveyard hate. I'm willing to bet it's just none, though. Okay, get rid of Arid Mesa, go get a Steam Vent. Eljo, we only needed one. And Otherworldly Gaze. Graveyard, guard, and hey, look at that, graveyard. Nope, that's all for me. We put Thug in our hand. Ooh, 2 Creeping Chills, you'll love to see it. So there's 11 cards in our bin at the moment. So we could get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Normally, Ox of Agonis is always the correct thing to do. Normally. But we do have a Cathartic Reunion in hand and a Thrilling Discovery. Let's try a Thrilling Discovery. I mean, if they end up hating out the Ox, then I'm wrong. I'm hoping to do this multiple times. Okay, so everything's going to come out on my turn now anyway. So that worked. And now next turn, we have the Golgari Thug if he does anything cute. Everything goes on the stack. Gotta tell that to yield every game. Oh, what is he doing now? Okay, just fetching. I was gonna say, is this a surgical, like a late surgical that would have gotten my creatures, which again, that's how I kill you. Okay, we are looking pretty good. Even if he blanks our graveyard, we're doing quite well. Seasoned Pyromancer. For half a second, guys, for half a second, I forgot that he couldn't have non-creatures in his deck, and I thought he was going to anger me. And if he angered me, I was going to put myself in a box and ship myself to Chumpland. And we win the match. All right, technically 3-0. Let's go ahead and go on to round 4. Man, Mitko just likes Dredge. We are winning die rolls left and right. If this was a different red card, this hand would be absolutely amazing, but it's not. Okay, that works. We'd rather have Creeping Chill in the deck. Right, turn 1, play out a Blood Crypt tapped, and ship it. Spire Bluff Canal. Are we finally playing against an actual deck? Yep, there's Ragavan. We have found the Murktide deck. All right, so we have exactly next turn. I was hoping to discard that Prized Amalgam, but 2 Stinkweed Imps. You can't pass up on that. So hopefully, in our top 10, get some action, right? Not yet. We're going to top 15. All right, we found our action. So these guys normally play Unlicensed Hearst as the Graveyard Hate in game 2 and 3. So while I feel like we have a pretty good game 1 right now, game 2 and 3, I feel like we're gonna, be on the receiving end of some tier 1 action. The good news is, he can't steal anything I care about. Because even if he steals an Ox, there's 2 other Oxes in the deck. Even if he steals Conflagrate, I wasn't going to cast it. So there's nothing the Ragavan can do if he does bolt the Narcomoeba out of the way and just go swinging with Ragavan. I suppose it's a little annoying that at that point they also get to have a treasure, but... I feel like we're in a pretty decent spot at the moment, right? We dredge a Dark Blast. What are we doing? I guess we can Otherworldly Gaze if... Conflagrate. Okay, well, we'll play into the counterspell. Damage, Conflagrate, 1 there, and then 5 in this direction. I mean, they definitely have counterspell, but how else am I gonna get all those Stinkweed Imps in the yard? And oh wow! I would have thought that they can hit me with Ragavan if they want. I don't think it matters now. All right, Bolt's my guy, that's fine. Those come back. Another Bolt. An Unholy Heat on that. All right. So he did have a whole bunch of removal, but unless he has main deck Graveyard Hate, next turn, we are looking pretty good. I mean, we're down into our bottom 30 after next turn, so we should find an Ox pretty soon. Leisure Shredder, is that your whole turn? Or do you have the Bauble? What's your whole turn? That's unfortunate. All right. Take a Stinkweed Imp. We have yet to find an Ox. That's kind of annoying. We are going to get a whole bunch going on, though. So we still have the Otherworldly Gaze. I guess we shouldn't cast it. Oh no, we haven't actually cast a spell. That was just dredging. Actually, wait, no, that counts as casting a spell, doesn't it? We can wait. We can wait and do it on their turn. All right, here come the two zombie boys. We're in pretty decent shape at the moment. Dragon Rage Channeler, sure thing. Go ahead and just surveil at this point. Bin, and bin. Don't need any of those, please and thank you. All right, so we put them to 6. They're gonna have 2 blockers. We still haven't found an Ox. We're going to dredge another 5, so we're not going to dredge a small number at this point. Even if they turn the Dragon Rage Channeler on, I'm at 23. Okay, so they do get to turn the Dragon Rage Channeler on, but again, I reiterate, I'm at 23. Sure, you can look at my top card, but I'm going to put 5 in the bin. Finally an Ox, all right. A whole bunch of Narcomoebas too. All right, so first thing we do is attack. They'll have to take 2. So the Narcomoebas, which are actually the most fragile creatures, live, and now Ox time. You do have to manually pick out 8 cards that are never going to see the light of day again. Oh, and they just scoop. All right, so they're going to have unlicensed hearses. So portable holes are good, and wear tears are okay. What do we take out? Well, first of all, again, nip some Cities of Brass. Nip a single steam vent, and nip even a arid mesa. Why not? Gemstones. Nip Thug. Nip Archamoeba. Conflagrate actually has been working out pretty good, not gonna lie. What else do we want to take out? We can on each of the red cards and even one of the blue cards and just really cross our fingers and hope that maybe we don't need all of these. Who knows? Let's try that. Moving on to game 2. Unkeepable hand. Well, missing a red card, but it has the Conflagrate. So keep this. Put probably the prized amalgam back. Play this. Give up on this prized amalgam. Turn 1 Ragavan kind of hurts. I mean, if we draw a Dark Blast, it doesn't hurt at all, but that would be Magical Christmas Land. Of course, it's not Magical Christmas Land. It is just another day in Sunnyvale. Just cool. This Conflagrate, no targets. Play another land and pass the turn. I mean, if he drops the unlicensed hearse now, that's not the worst thing in the world. It gets to eat a Conflagrate before it gets weird. I wouldn't expect him to do much of anything until the monkey hit, because up until this point, I still could have Dark Blasted the dang thing. Gemstone Caverns. I am so happy you stole that opponent. You have no idea. I would have paid 2 life to not draw that card. In fact, I did. Practice. Doesn't matter what we get at this point. Tap and draw. Please be something of note. A Dark Blast. Okay. We're gonna play the land, I think, and then we're just gonna conflag for 2. So red, Conflagrate 1 and 2, and discard the Silver Smoke Ghoul and the Dark Blast. Leave the Wear Tear in our hand just in case. Now, if he has a counterspell, that's kind of annoying. Not the worst thing in the world. Okay, counterspell. The Silver Smoke Ghoul and the Dark Blast did still end up in our bin, though. So, not the worst thing in the world. We just have to pass for now. I mean, we're playing against a very good deck in the meta, so it's not surprising when their deck has answers. They get another crack in with Ragavan, but, like, we're just gonna dredge Dark Blast. So, unless they steal a Creeping Chill, I'm actually okay with whatever they want to do. See what they steal. A Cathartic Reunion. You know what? If you want to play that opponent and tap out, I'm okay with that. Although that is a pretty good hit for them because it'll turn on their Delirium, something special. Yep. Okay. So they got rid of 2 nothing cards to pull 1 good thing. I suppose Cathartic Reunion is a good hit off of Ragavan. Oh boy, they are just going to the moon now. It turns out Ancestral Recall is a good card even if it costs 2 and is a sorcery. All right. So get whatever out of our deck. Literally does not matter. And draw. I will take that Dark Blast, please and thank you. They have a stop on our upkeep. That's weird. We found a Narcomoeba, which isn't going to do much of anything if we're being honest. We're just going to pass at this point, and upon attacking, we're going to try and kill the Ragavan. If they have another Ragavan, then we don't want them to get dash value. Looking at their top card, seeing if they want to ship it away with their fetch land. Seems like they like what they saw up there. Fetchin'? Unlicensed Hearse. Okay, so the Dredge card is in our hand, and they played that a little early, so they're going to snipe exactly 1 Silver Smoke Ghoul and nothing else. Ooh, they're even going to play, so they're not going to have another Unlicensed Hearse. That is unfortunate. That is a different horse of a color. So having the 2 Unlicensed Hearses is probably going to get us. Because we'll blow 1 up, it'll eat 2 things, and we won't have another Wear Tear to blow the other one up. So that's unfortunate. Sure thing, boss. So we'll blow up that one. Exiles 2 more things from the bin. It's interesting that they did that before combat because now I can still Dark Blast Ragavan. Okay. Nah, that was a weird hunt adjacent thing they did. An Otherworldly Gaze. So I think we stay on D for the moment, and we just slowly try and find our other thing that can get rid of the unlicensed hearse. We can Dark Blast the Ragavan, and when they try and unlicensed hearse the Otherworldly Gaze, and that's unfortunate, we can snap it off and try and look at our top 3. Well, I think you and I both know that this was coming, right? Otherworldly Gaze, please. I mean, we just need to put all these in the bin, and we need to outpace it now. Because unless he has a third one of those in his hands, we're not in a bad spot. We have 9 cards in the bin. We're going to go Golgari Thug, which will put another 4 in the bin. Pleasure Shredder, sure. So hopefully we can get a board state that kind of takes care of this. So we were far away from drawing either of our answers anyway. They're at the absolute bottom of what we were going to flip over. The good news is now there's nothing stopping us from doing this. None of these cards in this graveyard do much of anything. Yep, none of those are dredgers. Gone. So admittingly, we only have 2 dredgers in our bin at this exact moment. So Thug, cross our fingers. Okay, we get 1 Narcomoeba. Stinkweed Imp, cross our fingers again. That Ox of Agonis is definitely disappearing, but the good news is that guy's gonna come out, so we definitely go for the Thug, just trying to dig deeper. Okay, so 3 Creeping Chills and 1 Narcomoeba is not a bad hit. We are gonna lose an Ox, however, but everything else is gonna be out of the bin, and they're not gonna be able to do anything about it. Nothing else we can do, so we'll just go to our end step, and everything will pop out of our graveyard. By everything, I mean 1 Silver Smoke Ghoul and 1 Prized Amalgam. They are at 8, however. And fun fact, Stinkweed Imp's pseudo Death Touch, not a bad spell. So we put that on the field, you know, it's suddenly a blocker. Because I have to assume he's going to unlicensed Hearst the Ox of Agonis and the Dark Blast. Otherwise, he's waiting for us to go to our turn at the end of our draw step, I think, to pull stuff out. Scariest thing he could do right now is Murktide. He's only got 1 card left in hand. Oh, takes the 2 dredgers. Okay, that makes sense. So we have to draw. Cathartic Reunion. Oh, buddy, I'm so sorry. His last card might be Counterspell, but is what it is. Nope. All right. Stinkweed Imp. Beat Imp. And our opponent scoops it up, and that's the match, taking down one of the top decks in the meta. 1 more match to go. Let's see if we can pull a 5-0. So again, Dredge just being a beloved deck of Midgo, it would seem. We would love to play first. Thank you. This is even a good hand. We will keep. We have 5 color lands. We have a Dredger, and we have a red card. Oh no! Is this the mirror? Eerie. Okay, no. I don't know what they're doing, but whatever it is, I don't like it. All right, just Sacred Foundry tapped. Oh man. Oh no. What is our opponent doing? Why do you also have... No one does anything fair with Gemstone Caverns. I know because I have them. Crushing Footfalls. Oh, okay. It's just one of these. Okay. So it's just like a Rhino deck that also has Gemstone Caverns in the main. Sure. So Sacred Foundry, untapped. Red, Cathartic Reunion, discard Thug and Stinky, and start the clown music. Nothing yet. Oh no, that was poor. So next turn, we're definitely just going to conflagrate our hand into the bin. That's so brutal what just happened. Man, we tried to do something really unfair and it didn't work. How dare the magic gods? Right, our opponent is now at 3 lands on turn 2. Is this, Violent Outburst. So they get to Cascade, so they're gonna have big creatures too, is the thing. We get to kill 2 of them. 5/4s, yeah, that's fine. We're gonna have 7 cards in hand, so we can kill 1, can't do much about the other, and this is a setup turn, unfortunately. So because we can't kill both of them, I'm gonna play a City of Brass. I don't know why we might need it, but who knows, we might need it. Conflagrate, dealing 4 here. Do I even keep the other City of Brass? I think I do. I'll deal 1 to the dome, and just keep the other City of Brass in my hand for next turn to try and do multi-spell. So we're going to take a lot of damage pretty quick, but hopefully for us, our board gets as unfair as their board swiftly. They come cracking in for 2. The question is, do they have another Violent Outburst to come in for 5 and put 2 more Rhinos on the board? Because that might even get us. They haven't played their hand yet, but I'm pretty sure if they wanted to, they could Rhino again. All right, no dice. So definitely Stinkweed Imp. Ox and Ox. Okay, so this is going to be the best turn we could have asked for. Yes, I would love to use their ability. Thank you. Definitely want to yield through these because we're going to be doing a lot of Oxing. So play a City of Brass. Red, first Ox of Agonis. First Ox is going to be easier to cast, I think. Right? None of those matter. I was actually about to say, if this gets countered, that's going to be unfortunate. Right? So we discard our hand. Stinkweed Imp, and wouldn't you know it's Stinkweed Imp. That was... Okay, up until that last point, that was actually pretty poor running, if I'm being honest. We're going to go for that again, even though we're only at 21 cards in deck. deck because, let's see, we only hit one Creeping Chill. So there should still be 2 more Creeping Chills in the deck and like more Narcomoebas. Deal me a damage, thank you. Oh no, I made black instead of red. And I can't undo that because of how City of Brass works, because I should really be doing, well, guys, you know, I'm not the best player. But you know, we found the 2 cards we were looking for, so who knows? Maybe that's better. I don't know. Do you know? Whoops. Oh man, I really need to pay attention when I play the game Magic. Well, all 4 prize amalgams are there. What more could you ask for? What I say when I punt it into the sun. Oh boy, that's a lot of triggers. That is a lot of triggers. So you just trying to break Mitgo, eh? Just putting more on there. Please don't do it untapped. Okay, I was about to say whatever you want, whatever you're trying to do, I don't want to know it. All these triggers happening as these do technically happen one at a time. Okay, so he did something unfair. We did something unfair. We're all doing unfair things. You know, he can have a Fury and take out. Oh no, okay. So our unfair was better than their unfair for this exact moment. Don't know what Graveyard Hate Cascade Rhinos plays. I'd be willing to bet, because it has to be a Leyline, right? Because it has to be 4 mana. So, Wear Tears, definitely the Gemstone. Oh, is he going to make me go first? Because he's playing Gemstone Caverns. So if he makes me go first, I don't want my Gemstone Caverns in my deck. So let's nip out 1 Narcomoeba, 1 Golgari Thug, and 1 Thrilling Discovery, and put in our Wear Tears and see how that does us. But I'm willing to bet he's going to make us go first, so the Gemstone Caverns stay in the sideboard, I think. Let's see if I'm right. Okay, he did choose to play first. Okay, so apparently the Gemstone Caverns would have been good. The good news is we have an absolute banger of a hand. Now, would it have been better if that Arid Mesa had been a Gemstone Cavern? Absolutely. But we're going to be fine, I think. Unless he goes like, turn 1, haha, relics me, I think we should be fine. Play a Scalding Tarn. That seems to be all they're up to, which is nice. So play this. I think we just pass. It really hurts to draw the Creeping Chill, because that's a Creeping Chill that's not going to deal free damage, but we'll see what they do. Because we can Otherworldly Gaze, hopefully put some sort of Dredger in the bin for our opener. And then after that, we of course have Dark Blast and Golgari Thug for the Cathartic Reunion, but we would love to find something better. Oh no, they just kept the Gemstone Caverns in their deck, even though they're awful now. I wouldn't have called that. I would have thought you would have had some form of, you know, backup plan. Nope, these all go in the bin. We're feeding the bin now. All right, untap, and we draw a land. Not the worst thing, but we are going to, sure, play this and save us a damage. Why not? Red, Cathartic Reunion, Thug, and Dark Blast. All right, come on, Golgari Thug. Golgari Thug, not bad. Okay, Dark Blast, what you got? You got 1 more Dark Blast, come on. Okay, that was a good hit. That was indeed a good hit. If they have something that stops our guys from coming out, then we're, you know, ouchied, but Silver Smoke comes out, and now our 3 prized amalgams are going to come out on his end step, assuming he doesn't screw with our graveyard. Now, we also have a Conflagrate, so we can take our whole hand and just yeet it in the bin if we want. We also have an Ox of Agonis that's an option, but I think once our prized amalgams come out, we're not going to have a ton of cards. He is going to put 2 Rhinos into play, but 2 Rhinos versus a ton of zombies is a thing. And we're going to Conflagrate a couple of things. We're going to Conflagrate the Shardless Agent and one of the Rhinos off the field. So are we in the best situation? No. Are we in an okay situation? Yes. All right, there goes all of our guys. We found another Cathartic Reunion. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if we go 4 and 2, that allows me to play a land. And then we go red, Conflagrate. That's 2 there and 4 there, and just yeet our entire hand. Get rid of most of our problems. And he scoops the match. That is a 5-0. Let's go to the wrap-up. All right, so fun fact, is Dredge still a good deck? Absolutely. Was that a league? Of course not, guys. You know, I'll tell you if it's a league. That was 5 matches in the one-on-one queue. 1 dude decided he was done playing, the other 4 were good, and those last 2 were actually meta games. So you saw Dredge, which is always kind of on the fringes of the meta, and beating Murktide and beating Rhinos. So Dredge is good, It seems now in the meta like this version of this deck that I just kind of grabbed because I needed to kind of cover up for what happened to my other video that will never see the light of day, is no longer caring about our opponent's graveyard, and it's actually for the benefit. It's also not playing Gemstone Caverns in the main, it's putting them in the side, and you kind of hope you win that die roll. And that's another thing about this video tonight. You saw me win a ton of die rolls, and when you win that many die rolls with Dredge, you win games. And we won a ton of games here. And again, it wasn't like it was a league. It's not like the games were getting harder as it was going on. But we did start facing harder decks at the end, so I think that's relatively good. Again, if you enjoy decks like Dredge, apparently people are forgetting about it. And that's when Dredge does a great job, is when people kind of forget about it. Because, for example, Murktide used to run Relics of Progenitus. Now, though, for a majority of the meta, the Unlicensed Hearse is just the correct answer. You're just trying to turn off Delirium most of the time. But you saw, only taking 2 cards out of my bin at a time wasn't quick enough. When they used to run Relics and Soul Guide Lanterns, he would have blown up my entire bin, and that game would have been over. I would have lost. But unfortunately and fortunately, that's when Dredge is at its best. Dredge is at its best when no one sees it's coming. So if you're going to put Dredge together in paper and play it at like an FNM or something, you should really only bring it out every now and then. If you're known as the Dredge guy, you're going to see your win record just go right to the ground. But if you are known to have the deck and they don't know what you're playing, you'll definitely see a lot better win rate with it. And again, I love this deck. This was the first deck I ever brought to this YouTube channel that I do for my own entertainment. But yeah, I think it's great. If you want to give it a go, I see Dredge as one of those interesting ways to play Modern. Is it normally how you play Modern? Is it traditionally how you play Modern? Absolutely not, but it is a creative way to do it, and you do get to go from there. And a little bit of information for those of you who have stayed this long in the video. If anyone was wondering what I was trying to do, yeah, I was trying to do something with that. It didn't go too well. Maybe I'll try it again sometime in the future, but yeah, Thalian the Gitrog monster does not lead to interesting gameplay. All right, folks, thank you very much for joining me. If you have a list you would like me to give a shot, go ahead and email me at heydummyplaythis@gmail.com. That's heydummyplaythis@gmail.com. You can also just request archetypes or formats or really whatever, or, you know, send me an email telling me that you hate my face. Do whatever you got to do. Thank you guys very much. I will see you next time, and later.